the invitation. It started on a quiet Friday night in October. For friends, Sam, Lily, Mark, and Jenna gathered in Sam's basement for what was supposed to be a fun night before Halloween. Outside, rain tapped gently against the windows, and the dim yellow bulb above them flickered occasionally. Mark pulled out an old wooden Ouija board he had found in his late grandmother's attic. Dust clung to its edges, and the planchette looked worn, carved with strange letters and numbers. "Come on, it's just a game," Mark laughed, wiping it clean with his sleeve. Lily hesitated. "You know they say this thing opens doors you can't close, right?" Sam rolled his eyes. "Only if you believe in that stuff." They formed a circle, placing their fingers lightly on the planchette. The air suddenly felt heavier, colder, though no one mentioned it. "Is anyone here with us?" Mark asked jokingly. Nothing. Silence filled the room. Then, the planchette began to move. Slowly at first, then more confidently, sliding toward yes. Lily's breath caught in her throat. "Who are you?" she whispered. The planchette spelled out ELIAS. A chill ran through the group. Sam forced a laugh. "Who's doing that? Seriously, stop." But no one was moving. The board spelled again, HELLO. For a moment, everyone froze. The shadows in the room seemed longer, darker. The candlelight flickered, though there was no wind. Then suddenly, knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks echoed from the basement door. Mark's smile vanished. He looked at the others. "That wasn't funny," he said. No one had moved. And just like that, what started as a game began to feel like something else entirely. The first contact. The rain outside had turned into a downpour, echoing against the basement walls. The air felt thick, like the room itself was holding its breath. The group sat frozen, eyes locked on the motionless Ouija board in front of them. Mark tried to laugh, but it came out shaky. Probably the wind, or the pipes. But deep down, he knew there were no pipes on that side of the house. Lily's voice trembled. "Elias, are you a good spirit?" The planchette began to move again, slowly gliding across the board. "Annie, oh." Everyone stared at one another, waiting for someone to admit they were pushing it. No one did. Sam whispered, "What do you want from us?" The planchette circled the board, then stopped on TOPLAY. "To play," Jenna repeated, her eyes wide. "It wants to play." She tried to sound amused, but her voice cracked halfway through. Suddenly, a loud pop came from the corner. The light bulb flickered violently and went out. The room fell into near darkness, lit only by the candle's weak flame. They all jumped. Lily screamed softly, her hands trembling. The planchette began to move again, faster now. DONTLEAVE. Mark's throat went dry. "Okay, that's it. We're done," he said, pulling his hands away. But as soon as he did, the candle's flame surged high, unnaturally bright, and blew out. For a second, there was nothing but blackness. Then, in the dark, a faint whisper filled the air. It sounded like someone breathing close to their ears, saying something too soft to understand. Sam fumbled for his phone light, hands shaking. When it finally lit the room, everyone gasped. The planchette was back on hello, though no one had touched it. And on the wall behind them, written in the condensation of the window, were 2 words, "I see." The warning. The basement air turned icy, every breath visible in the dim flashlight glow. The group stood frozen, staring at the words, "I see" written across the fogged window. Jenna's voice cracked. "This isn't funny anymore." No one replied. Sam swallowed hard and forced himself to sit back down. "Let's just say goodbye the right way and end it," he said, recalling something he'd once read about Ouija rules. But before they could, the planchette began to move again, violently this time.
DONT.
The candle suddenly reignited on its own. Lily gasped, tears welling in her eyes. "Mark, please make it stop." "I'm not doing anything," he shouted, backing away from the board. The planchette spun in frantic circles before spelling S-T-A-Y. The letters scraped audibly against the wood, the sound grating and unnatural. Then Elias spelled another message, one letter at a time. Do not leave the circle. They all exchanged panicked looks. None of them had heard that rule before. What circle? Jenna asked, and just as she lifted her hand from the board, a deafening bang echoed through the basement. The door slammed shut on its own. The sound reverberated through the floorboards, followed by faint scratching noises from beneath them. The candle flickered again, casting long, jerking shadows that almost seemed to move on their own. Lily began crying quietly. We have to stop, she whispered. Sam nodded, his voice breaking. Okay. Goodbye, Elias. But the planchette refused to move. It trembled in place, vibrating slightly, then slowly slid toward Then, the basement lights flickered back on for just a moment, revealing something that made every heart stop. A dark, shadowy outline standing in the far corner, its head tilted unnaturally to the side. And just as quickly as the lights came, they went out again, leaving only the echo of a soft, whispering laugh. The haunting begins. After that night, none of them spoke much about what happened. They swore it off as paranoia, a shared hallucination brought on by fear. Mark buried the Ouija board deep in the basement closet, and they promised never to touch it again. But silence didn't mean safety, and what followed proved that the spirit they'd summoned hadn't stayed behind. It started with small things. Sam's bedroom door creaked open on its own every night at exactly 3:03 a.m. Lily would wake to soft tapping sounds on her window, though she lived on the second floor. Jenna's phone would ring at random hours, but when she answered, there was only a faint whisper, her name. At first, they tried to rationalize everything. It's coincidence, Mark insisted. But one morning, he found the board sitting on his desk, the same one he'd hidden and locked away. Dust had been wiped from its surface, and the planchette rested neatly over HELLO. Terrified, he called Sam. It's back, he whispered. The board. It found me. That same night, the others met at his house. They agreed to burn it, to destroy it for good. But as soon as they tried, the air in the room shifted. The fire refused to catch. Every lighter went out the instant it touched the board. Then, a deep humming sound began to fill the room, vibrating through their bones. Lily screamed as the planchette moved on its own again, spelling rapidly, "You broke the rule." Then, from the kitchen, came the unmistakable sound of footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate. The door creaked open by itself. Mark turned toward it, flashlight trembling in his hand. "Who's there?" he whispered. No one answered. But in the reflection of the dark TV screen behind him, something moved. The possession. The following week was a blur of fear and sleepless nights. Mark stopped answering calls, and when Sam and Lily went to check on him, they found his house in complete darkness. The curtains were drawn, every mirror covered with cloth. When they knocked, the door creaked open slowly, as if on its own. Mark sat in the living room hunched over the Ouija board. His eyes looked sunken, his lips moving soundlessly. The board was glowing faintly beneath his hands. Lily stepped closer. "Mark, are you okay?" He didn't respond, until he suddenly lifted his head, revealing eyes that looked almost wrong. Dark veins crawled across his temples. His voice came out low and hollow, nothing like his own. "He's not gone," Mark said. "He said I belong to him now." Lily stumbled back. "What are you talking about?" "Who?" Mark smiled, slow and lifeless. "Elias." Then his body jolted violently, like he was being pulled by invisible strings. The planchette moved without anyone touching it, spelling over and over, "M-I-N-E, M-I-N-E, M-I-N-E." The room temperature dropped instantly. Every candle in the room extinguished, leaving only the faint glow from the board. Sam grabbed Mark by the shoulders, shouting, "Wake up!" But Mark's voice turned guttural, distorted. "You left the circle," he hissed. "You broke the promise. His hands slammed onto the board so hard it cracked down the middle. Suddenly, the lights flickered on, and Mark collapsed unconscious. The board lay shattered, black smoke rising from it. When he woke up minutes later, he remembered nothing. Not a word. But later that night, Sam's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. It read, "He's still here," and attached was a photo of Mark's living room, taken just moments ago. The final session. The photo chilled Sam to the core. It was clearly Mark's living room. Same cracked board, same dim light, but the timestamp showed it had been taken minutes after they'd all left. In the image, a dark silhouette stood behind the couch, its head tilted just like the shadow they'd seen in the basement weeks earlier. Terrified, Sam called the others. "We need to end this once and for all," he said. "We have to send it back." Lily hesitated. "You can't send back what's already attached," she whispered. But Sam was desperate. "Then we'll try." That night, the three returned to the basement where it all began. The cracked Ouija board sat in the center of the floor, waiting for them, as if it knew they were coming. The air was heavy and freezing cold. Sam lit a single candle. "We say goodbye properly this time. No one breaks contact. No one looks away." They placed their fingers on the planchette. "Elias," Sam said firmly, "we're ending this. Leave us alone." The planchette began to move, scraping across the board with a shrill sound. Spelled an O. Then the candle flame bent sideways, as though something invisible was breathing on it. Lily whispered through tears, "Please go." The planchette slid faster now, spelling TOLATE. A loud bang echoed through the basement. The candle went out. In the dark, something growled, low, rumbling, inhuman. Sam screamed, trying to relight the candle. But when the flame returned, Mark was gone. His spot was empty, the planchette still moving. It spelled one final word, DODBYE. Then the board cracked in two, a flash of heat rippling through the room. The lights flickered back on, and on the floor where Mark had been sitting was only his phone, the screen glowing faintly. A new message appeared. "Your turn."